Elias stood in the massive greenhouse dome that crowned Earth's newest agricultural research station. Outside, the gray Atlantic waves crashed against the rocky shore, but beneath the curved glass, tens of thousands of young plants stretched toward the artificial sun lamps. It was hard to believe how far humanity had come since the days of desperate rationing and collapsed food chains. Elias still remembered famine zones on every continent, how cities had erupted in chaos, and how entire nations had vanished under the weight of hunger. Yet here, in this peaceful sanctuary of green and gold, seeds engineered to thrive in harsh conditions thrummed with life. He carefully ran his hand across the leaves of a resilient grain plant, a testament to decades of human innovation. These seeds, he reflected, had the power to change not only Earth, but worlds far beyond. Decades earlier, the planet had been on the brink. Global temperatures soared, pollinators died off, and once fertile farmland cracked into barren deserts. In response, world leaders made a desperate gamble. They formed a coalition of scientists to focus exclusively on food production research, while fledgling space programs captured people's imaginations and corporate expansions reached for profit among the stars. This coalition toiled on Earth, quietly refining and perfecting the science of survival. The coalition scoured gene banks for the hardiest strains of every known crop, cross-pollinating them with newly discovered genes from extremophile organisms. Breakthroughs came in sudden bursts. Drought-resistant wheat, saltwater-tolerant rice, and bioluminescent corn that required minimal sunlight. Humanity's flair for collaboration crystallized in these seeds. Soon, famine ended on Earth. Though the world's climate challenges steadily worsened, the incredible adaptability packed into each kernel or seedling offered a tangible solution. As political tensions eased, new efforts turned to the stars. Almost overnight, announcements declared the discovery of habitable exoplanets. Spacefaring technology advanced, jump gates provided near-instant travel, and humanity embarked on a golden era of expansion, both scientific and territorial. But with each inhabited world came unique ecosystems that sometimes failed to sustain large colonies. Earth's agricultural coalition, now officially known as Gaia Novus, was enlisted to solve crises of interstellar hunger. The scientists fielded requests from every corner of established space, stunned that so many new worlds struggled with inadequate or failing farming. Aliens, too, reached out, curious about Earth's crops that seemed to flourish amid adversity. So Earth's seeds, like beams of hope, set out on starships to feed the galaxy. One of the earliest partnerships emerged with the settlers on Aurora Prime, a world blessed with luminous skies and purple grasslands, yet cursed by acidic rainfall that decimated conventional crops. Gaia Novus used gene editing techniques honed over decades of Earthside experimentation to engineer grains that could neutralize the acid in Aurora Prime soils. These grains thrived in soils that had previously dissolved the roots of any plant introduced. Fields of bright teal wheat began to wave across Aurora's plains, a stunning change from the world's lavender grass. News of this success reverberated across human and alien channels, and the seeds earned a moniker, Earth's Light. Unshackled from hunger, Aurora Prime's economy boomed, and a new era of cultural exchange was born. The colonists erected monuments, crediting Earth with saving them from certain starvation. As demands increased, Gaia Novus expanded. The best geneticists and botanists from multiple star systems came to Earth to learn from the so-called cradle of seeds. Labs sprouted in orbit around Earth, on the Moon, and in the Martian colonies. Remote training centers were established on newly terraformed outposts. A complex and dynamic network of collaboration emerged. Shipping corridors were established solely for the transport of seeds and agricultural equipment. Meanwhile, alien species with advanced knowledge in mycology and fungal genetics lent their expertise to Earth's coalition. The merging of Terran biology with that of galaxies beyond produced astonishing breakthroughs. Mushrooms that purified toxic soils, legumes with root nodules that captured and stored greenhouse gases, and edible plants that could convert lethal cosmic radiation into harmless, luminescence. Every day brought new revelations about how life could evolve and expand in the harshest environments. Elias was sent to Epsilon Eridani 4 next. Light years from Earth, it was a planet plagued by catastrophic radiation storms that obliterated crops grown on its sprawling farmland. The colonists had turned to synthetic food packs, which were quickly depleting. When Elias landed, he saw no fields, only dusty wastelands dotted with abandoned farmhouses. But in the subterranean bunkers, a small group of colonists clung to the dream of self-sustenance. The storms raged above, turning the sky a vicious red. Elias arrived bearing seeds engineered to not just survive but flourish under intermittent surges of radiation. The seeds germinated best in short bursts of bright UV light that mimicked solar flares. Within a month, delicate sprouts dotted the greenhouse floors. Colonists watched in awe as leaves hardened into a protective shell beneath each radiation blast, only to reopen moments later and gather every ounce of sunlight. In that transformation, they saw not just a crop, but a mirror of their own resilience. Word of Earth's generosity spread among other species, many of whom had never believed humans capable of such altruism. Diplomats soon approached the coalition with pleas to help feed entire alien populations. On Bolath, a water-rich planet inhabited by aquatic beings, Earth's algae-based superfoods were mobilized to augment their diminishing kelp forests. On the desert world of Khan, inhabited by tall, thin reptiles, specially engineered cactus-like plants provided both nutrition and water in the scorching heat. Yet with each request, Gaia Nova's scientists maintained a careful respect for the local environment. Mindful of the devastation invasive species could unleash, they worked tirelessly to adapt seeds to each planet's flora, ensuring that no newly introduced organism would undermine existing life. The idea was not to conquer nature, but to enrich it. As the coalition's influence spread, tensions arose. Certain human corporations coveted the secrets behind Terra's seeds, eager to exploit them for profit. Gaia Novas resisted pressure to privatize. They arranged treaties that ensured seeds would remain globally owned intellectual property, shared freely to ensure no corner of the galaxy starved. Rogue factions attempted to hijack shipments for black market sales, seeing the seeds as currency. But the coalition's leadership, invigorated by Earth's experiences with past crises, refused to surrender to greed. Protective convoys and global transparency policies thwarted most attempts at runaway capitalism. Over time, the seeds became synonymous with unity, transcending the notion of trade goods, where once the hustle for profit overshadowed moral imperatives. The seeds reminded humankind and alien races alike that no economic gain should supplant the survival of entire species. As Gaia Novas expanded, they uncovered new challenges. Distant star systems had alien pathogens that threatened Earth-engineered crops. A single mutation could spread like wildfire. Dr. Althea Kim, one of Gaia Novas' top xenobiologists, led research teams on countless field missions, collecting data on these pathogenic threats. She worked side by side with alien microbiologists to create immuno-boosted seeds, each coated in an adaptive microbial shield that could neutralize viruses in foreign soils. From ice worlds battered by sub-zero storms to blazing hot planets where water boiled on the surface, the seeds were reimagined to fit each environment's peculiarities. The seeds' next generation began to incorporate updates, allowing them to listen to the local microbial frequencies, tweak their own genetic expressions, and coexist peacefully with native ecosystems. This emergent intelligence within the seeds was no longer just science, it was artistry. Amid these extraordinary successes, humans also discovered unexpected bonds. The coalitions expanded beyond labs and fields into cultural exchanges, encompassing art, music, and philosophy. Volunteers introduced Terran pollinators, bees, and other insects genetically protected against new cosmic hazards onto planets where pollination was failing. Aliens from star systems that revered plant life as sacred guided humans in advanced hydroponic systems and taught ancient cultivation rites. On Earth, these cosmic visitors were greeted with festivals celebrating the unity of life, human, alien, and the seeds themselves. Humanity's past conflicts seemed distant as collaborative success stories snowballed. Slowly, a sense of broader identity emerged, as if each star system were a piece of a grand ecological puzzle. A universal sense of kinship took hold. However, there came a moment of reckoning. Upon a star-drenched frontier world called Janux Theta, scientists discovered a creeping blight that devoured entire forests overnight. Sentient plant-fungal hybrids, an indigenous race known as the Mura, were in grave danger. Their kind needed Earth's help, but harbored deep mistrust. Recalling how other colonists had stripped resources from alien worlds, Gaia Novus had to prove their intent was not exploitation but cooperation. Elias led a goodwill mission that shared Earth's anti-blight seeds openly, without demanding anything in return. Through careful study of Mura biology, the Earth scientists devised a tailored gene therapy for the blighted plants, mitigating the fungal outbreak while preserving local species. The Mura watched with cautious optimism. When the blight finally receded, an ancient Mura elder walked through a newly green clearing and clasped Elias's hand. That gesture became a defining image, broadcast across star lanes as a symbol that trust could take root in even the hardest soils. In the years that followed, Earth's seeds seeped into nearly every corner of known space. Some of them evolved into new forms entirely, shaped by local conditions beyond anything humans had predicted. In one star system, red-stemmed fruit trees thrived in zero gravity. On a planet orbiting a dying sun, pale vines that glowed faintly in the twilight spread outward, capturing scarce energy from the star's weakened rays. The seeds carried not just Earth genes, but its spirit of hope, a quiet testament to the resilience and cooperation that had blossomed in humanity's darkest hour. No longer was famine an inevitability. Planets that once struggled on the verge of collapse now buzzed with color and life. Gaia Novus eventually established an interstellar university dedicated to sustainable agriculture, open to every species willing to learn and share their own knowledge. Students from hundreds of worlds converged to study curated gene libraries, advanced cultivation techniques, and ecological management strategy. They left not as conquerors of nature, but as stewards of life. Over time, the tapestry of interstellar agriculture wove itself ever tighter, and in hidden corners of the galaxy, seeds continued their ancient story of pushing roots into soil and sprouting, bridging distance and differences. Where famine once loomed like a specter, new harvest festivals replaced despair with joy. Elias, now much older, strolled through Earth's original greenhouse dome one last time. He stopped at the same robust cereal plants he'd once touched with trembling awe. Outside, the Atlantic still crashed, though protective walls held rising sea levels at bay. He observed those seeds, descendants of Earth's earliest experiments, and thought of the worlds they had saved. 1,000 star systems no longer feared hunger because of this quiet, living miracle. The seeds possessed an innate generosity. Every new generation yielded more seeds to spread further, to feed more mouths, to transform more landscapes from barren to bountiful. And though humanity had once teetered on the edge of self-destruction, it was this willingness to care not just for themselves but for all life that reshaped the cosmic horizon. In that final glance, Elias felt a profound gratitude, knowing that Earth's generosity had begun with just a seed, yet ended with the feeding of an entire galaxy.